राम 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 जानकी कांत स्मरणं जय जय राम राम नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव गोपिका जीवन स्मरणं गोविंद गोविंद सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय सदाशिव समारंभं शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मद् आचार्य पर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरु परम्पराम् सर्वकल्याणदातारम् सर्वापद्घनवारकम् अपार करुणामूर्तिम् आञ्जनेयं नमाम्यहम् सुधा सिंधु समुद्भूत शीतांशुरुचिरप्रभा संध्यारंभ सुवर्णाभ हाटकेश्वर विग्रहं महादेव समायुक्ता चिदानंदमयी शिवा मनोमंदिर कंचांत भासमानो समाश्रये रमण चरण कंजान्माक्षिका स्वाधभृंगम् रमण चरण मुग्धं लौकिकाशा विरक्त्या रमण चरण निष्ठं प्राक्तनै कर्मभिश्च रमण चरण तीर्थं सद्गुरुं भावयेऽहम् गणेशादि सकल देवता मूर्ति की जय पुंडलीक वरदा हरि विठ्ठले तांडव नृत्य करी गजानन तांडव नृत्य करी गजानन तांडव
नृत्य करी गजानन तांडव नृत्य करी
धिमी किटी मृदंग वाजे धिमी किटी मृदंग वाजे
धिमी किटी मृदंग बाजे धिमी किटी मृदंग बाजे
तांडव नृत्य करी गजानन तांडव नृत्य करी गजानन तांडव तकतीस कोटी सभागन दाटी तकतीस कोटी सभागन दाटी
तकतीस कोटी सभागन दाटी तकतीस कोटी सभागन दाटी
मध्ये शिव गौरी गजानन मध्ये शिव गौरी गजानन
मध्ये शिव गौरी गजानन मध्ये शिव गौरी गजानन तांडव नृत्य करी गजानन तांडव नृत्य करी गजानन तांडव नृत्य
रामी रामदास सलोदित रामी रामदास सलोदित
रामी रामदास सदोदित रामी रामदास सदोदित
शोभे चंद्रशिरी गजानन शोभे चंद्रशिरी गजानन
शोभे चंद्रशिरी गजानन शोभे चंद्रशिरी गजानन तांडव नृत्य करी गजानन तांडव
नृत्य करी गजानन तांडव नृत्य करी देमज दिव्यमती सरस्वती देमज दिव्यमती
देमज दिव्यमती सरस्वती देमज दिव्यमती
सरस्वती देमज दिव्यमती सरस्वती देमज दिव्यमती
देमज दिव्यमती सरस्वती दिव्यमती
राम कथा बहु गोड निरूपण राम कथा बहु गोड निरूपण
राम कथा बहु गोड निरूपण राम कथा बहु गोड निरूपण
चालवी शीघ्र गती सरस्वती चालवी शीघ्र गती सरस्वती
चालवी शीघ्र गती सरस्वती चालवी शीघ्र गती
देमज दिव्यमती सरस्वती देमज दिव्यमती सरस्वती देमज दिव्यमती ब्रह्मादिक देव पूजित तुझला ब्रह्मादिक देव पूजित तुझला
ब्रह्मादिक देव पूजित तुझला ब्रह्मादिक देव पूजित तुझला
प्रार्थन की करीती सरस्वती प्रार्थना की करीती सरस्वती
प्रार्थना ही करीती सरस्वती प्रार्थना ही करीती
रामदास म्हणे काय मला उणे रामदास म्हणे काय मला उणे
रामदास म्हणे काय मला उणे रामदास म्हणे काय मला उणे
रामदास म्हणे काय मला उणे रामदास म्हणे काय मला उणे
रामदास म्हणे काय मला उणे रामदास म्हणे काय मला उणे
तू असता जगती सरस्वती तू असता जगती सरस्वती
तू असता जगती सरस्वती तू असता जगती सरस्वती
मज दिव्यमती सरस्वती रे मज दिव्यमती सरस्वती दे मज दिव्यमती दे मज दिव्यमती दे मज दिव्यमती भीम हा मारुती बल भीम का मारुती भीम हा मारुती बल भीम हा मारुती
भीमगा मारुती भीमगा मारुती
भव जलधि मदिल भय हरिद सकल बल भीम का मारुती जलधि मदिल भय हरिद सकल बल भीम का मारुती भव जलधि मदिल भय हरिद सकल भीम का मारुती
भव जलधि मदिल भय हरिल सकल भीमगा मारुती
बल भीम हा मारुती
बल भीमगा मारुती
अंजनी बालक त्रैलोक्य चालक
अंजनी बालक त्रैलोक्य चालक
जाने लंकासी जाला रावणासी कळवळ
जाने लंकासी जाला चल चल
बल भीम का मारुती बल भीम का मारुती भव जलधि मदिल भय हरिल सकल बल भीम का मारुती भव जलधि मदिल भय हरिल सकल भीम का मारुती बल भीम का मारुती लक्ष्मण प्राण वात्सविला देने
लक्ष्मण प्राण वात्सविला जेने
भले हा तक्षण आणि लाग द्रोणाचल
बलेगा लक्षण आणि लाग द्रोणाचल
बल भीम का मारुती बल भीम का मारुती भव जलधि मदिल भय हरिल सकल बल भीम का मारुती भव जलधि मदिल भय हरिल सकल भीम का मारुती बल भीम का मारुती श्री राम सेवक कल्याणकारक
श्री राम सेवक कल्याणकारक
श्री राम सेवक कल्याणकारक
राम सेवक कल्याणकारक
कृष्ण विष्णु जगन्नाथ स्मरण अचल
कृष्ण विष्णु जगन्नाथ स्मरण अचल
बल भीम का मारुति बल भीम का मारुति भव जलधि मदिल भय हरिल सकल बल भीम का मारुति भव जलधि मदिल भय हरिल सकल भीम का मारुति बल भीम का मारुति बल भीम का मारुति सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. Grace of Guru is what changes our perspective in life. Life is the same for everyone. It comes with its own bundles of happiness and joy, pains and pleasures, troubles and fortunes. All this belongs to everyone. No bhakta is ever spared from the tides of time. To put it in our contemporary language, all devotees have their own share of EMIs to pay, bills, medical problems, relationship issues, whatever that common people have. Just because someone is a devotee or dearly attached to Lord, it doesn't mean that they don't have any of these. Then what is it that gives them that bliss? What is it that acts as an SRS, a safety restraint system? Now, while driving a car, when we face an accident by some misfortune, something just pops up and protects us. It's a safety restraint system. While riding a two-wheeler, even if we meet with an accident, if we are wearing a helmet, it protects us, right? So that accident can happen to anyone. But why is it that some people alone seem to be happy? They seem totally unaffected by all these things, as if they have a full-time SRS around them, as if they have a full-time helmet. That's called a kavacham. That's why Bhagwan gives Narayana Kavacha. A kavacham is something that protects us from anything and everything. So how is it that some people have this? It is because once we surrender ourselves to God, we stop seeing things as our own. That's when our ego subsides. And when ego subsides, we see everything as a play of the Lord. And slowly, we stop putting ourselves out there in the center of the drama, but we move. We slowly take a side stage and we become one with the Sakshi Bhuta, who is the seer himself. And once we join his team, becoming a Sakshi to everything, then the play becomes very enjoyable. Our Gurudeva says, my Guru says, Sri Ramana Charana Tirtha Swami, when you look at a mountain from distance, it's a very beautiful view out there. Have a lot of forests. It looks beautiful. Now, if you happen to possess some land in it, that is when your ego starts getting in. That's my land. So now when you look at the same mountain, you search for, where is my place there? Who is that trespassing inside my land? Why are some trees looking not so good in this place? What happened to this patch? So once we start putting our ego, once we start taking ownership on things, that is where problem starts coming. That is where we'll say to ourselves, no, I want it this way, I want it that way. Who is this I? It's so difficult to come out of this, right? It's easier said than done. How do we really surrender to God? These are questions not asked by mundane intellectuals or beings like us, but even great bhaktas. So even in Srimad Bhagavata, Ekadasha Skanda, a king asks these questions to the Nava Yogis. And to them, the king asks, how can I cross this ocean of delusion? How can I overcome this feeling of me and mine? So, one of the Navayogis says, Ishtam dattam tapojaptam vrittam cha atmani priyam dharan sutan grihan pranan yat parasmai nivedanam. Can I easily relinquish all my possessions? Can I just stop being a husband? Can I just abruptly stop being a wife, a mother, or a son? Relinquish everything and just go off, take off. Yeah, sounds well, sounds nice, but it cannot happen that way. So difficult, right? So, what do we do? The Navayogis reply, Ishtam taptam tapojaptam. Whatever you like, Ishtam. Whatever you like, don't take it for yourself. You offer it to the Almighty and then you do it. So that now you see the enjoyer within you as God and you give this as an offering. Anything and everything. We cook Nevidyams because the whole concept is that we first offer it to God and take it. God is not going to take it. The moment he starts actually eating, we'll stop giving him Nevidyam. Right? So, the whole concept of Nevidyam is, actually Nevidyam means just show at least to him. Say, Lord, this is yours. Now it is a prasad. The Nevidyam becomes a prasadam once it is offered to the Lord. And now you take it. For sattvic things, it's easy. You offer rice. You offer payasam, kheer. You offer sweets. It's easy. What if you like things that belong to the tamasic realm? Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had a devotee and he was an alcoholic. He used to write marvelous scripts. He used to stage dramas on Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All these religious dramas he used to do so well. At the end of the day, he will take this. He was so addicted. He couldn't help. So one day he came and he cried to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa saying, I don't know what to do. I can't get rid of this. Every day I need to drink. Otherwise, I can't function properly. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said, alright, who is asking you to stop it? Just do one thing. You offer it to Kali and then you drink. So just before you drink, you say, Ma Kali, this is for you, and then you drink. Just do that, you continue. He did that, and slowly what happened, that tamasic guna he was able to overcome, and very slowly he could really give up that bad habit. Just by offering whatever we do to God and by stopping to claim ownership. Instead of thinking, I am drinking alcohol, he started thinking, yes, I am offering this to Ma Kali and I am taking this as a prasad. And slowly what happens? I shouldn't be offering things like this to Ma Kali. Let me offer better things. Slowly we will stop doing bad habits. Ishtam dattam tapojaptam vrittam cha atmani priyam grihan pranan sutan griha daran sutan grihan pa daran sutan grihan pranan yav parasmai nivedanam. You offer it all to Bhagavan. So whatever is dear to us, whatever we feel like giving, ishtam dattam. So it's a feeling, when we see something nice, you want to give something to someone, a feeling of generosity, of the tendency to give things. It comes when we have happiness, when our heart is filled with happiness. When Krishna was born, we have Nanda Gokulam filled with so much of bounties, and Nanda Baba gave a lot of things to everyone because he was so happy. When Parikshit was born, Yudhishthira invited a lot of Brahmins and he gifted. So when we feel so happy, when we see our dear ones getting married or they're having some ceremony at home, we feel like giving them something, right? The feeling of giving, it happens everywhere. So do it in the name of God. My Guru, he says, instead of giving this and that, you give good spiritual books. See here now she's giving Haripaat. So give spiritual books or give some things that are close to Bhagwan as your gift. And that way, what you are giving itself becomes pure. Ishtam dattam tapo tapas. Whatever tapas we do, nothing happens without tapas. Tapas is penance. So it is not necessarily sitting on a yoga mat and meditating. No, whatever you are investing your mind, your time into, that is your tapas. How long does it take for an artist to really play like this? Play a Tanyavartanam or sit for a concert and play. It is a lifelong tapas that is seen for those 2 hours, right? So when we do that as an offering to Bhagavan, as when we see that art as a form of his blessing, the very act of playing becomes pure. We're all driven by our vasanas. We cannot do anything outside of what we are blessed. If you give me a mridangam, I can't play because I'm not blessed with that. So only if I have a vasana for that, I will do that. So in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna suddenly says, Krishna, he goes into a very meditative mood and he says, no, I don't want to fight anymore. I want to go and meditate. I want to take up sannyasa. Krishna says, see, if you stop, even if you say you're going to stop fighting, every cell of your body will fight. You can't do anything other than fighting. That's your nature. That's your dharma. Stick to it. He says, he gives the entire Atma Vidya to him through 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita and tells, Tasmat ma manusmara yudhyacha. You remember me all the time and you fight. That is the way to your salvation. That is the way to your moksha. You have to fight. So we can't do anything other than what is given to us by God. So take that vasana as a gift from God, and whatever is that vasana, converting that as a prayer helps us elevate ourselves. So ishtam, dattam, tapo, japtam, whatever we chant, japtam. See, even if we are not chanting any names of God, if we observe ourselves, we will be constantly sticking on to some idea or some chant. For most of the people, it is, I have no time. Whatever we say, I have no time, I have no time, I have no time. What is this, I have no time? If we drill into that further, see, whatever we really like to do, we really will find time to do it. Yes or no? Yes. So, it is not about time. So, what is this about? We have to do 5 why analysis. It's a qualitative technique where we have some problem, we continue to ask why to it. So, we have one problem, we have to ask why. For instance, if you're late, so that is a problem, then you have to ask why are you late, and then that gives you another problem. See, I had a problem in my house. Okay, so why was that problem? Again you continue. So we find that the root cause is something that predominantly or substantially it has no connection with this act of being late, but that was actually the cause of you being late. So asking 5 whys helps you dig out the root cause of any issue. This is what we do in our offices, right? To find the root cause of any problem, of any errors, qualitative errors, we do this 5 why analysis. So when we continue saying I have no time, I have no time, why do we don't have time? Everyone is equally having 24 hours, equally distributed. So what is it that makes a difference between people who effectively manage their time? The answer lies in our mind. Whatever our mind deems as important, we will definitely find time for that, right? Whatever is important to us, we will definitely find time. So if we don't have time for something, help me complete this. If we don't have time for something, it means that we haven't put our mind to it, or we aren't prioritizing it enough, right? So whatever we are chanting, if it is I have no time, as in this example, you put that chant as an offering to Krishna. Krishna, I have no time. Krishna, I have no time, right? Works well. Narayana, Narayana. So when we keep chanting our regular chants with Bhagavan or as an offering to Bhagavan, when we give our chant itself as an offering to Bhagavan, it becomes pure. And then we think, oh, instead of cribbing like this, let me substitute this with a Bhagavan Nama. So whenever you feel I have no time, you say Narayana, Narayana. And slowly that Narayana will remain and I have no time will vanish. That's right. So, whatever we offer to the Lord, it becomes pure. Even our japtam, our chants. Vrittam, whatever fasts, whatever austerities that we undertake, do it in the name of Lord. You want to fast, you want to lose weight, fine. Take up a fast and say it is an offering to Bhagavan. So, both ways it works. We are able to meet our health goals as well as it is a spiritual way of addressing our health problems. So even our body goals also gets aligned with the divine. That's an easy way of aligning ourselves with the divine, right? So ishtam jattam tapodattam vrittam cha atmani priyam. Whatever you like, atmani priyam, whatever you like, you just offer it to Bhagavan. That's an easy way of crossing this Maya. Dharan, his wife. So when you want a wife, don't think of it, okay, so if I have a wife, then I am going to enter into a materialistic world. Who said so? Grihastha is one of the most blessed ashramas where it gives us the opportunity to do satsangas like this. Invite people home, have a lot of pious people home, take care of sannyasis, of brahmacharis. So when we say we want to get married, you take that family life itself as a way to give divine offerings, to have satsangas, then that becomes divine. Tukaram Maharaj says in one of the abhangs, Na lagaye sayasa jave vanantari sukhe ye to ghara narayana sukhe ye to ghara नाम संकीर्तन साधन पैसो पे नाम संकीर्तन न लगे सायास जावे वनांतरम. Don't put in a lot of extra efforts. Don't strain yourselves. Don't stretch your limits, basically. If you can't fast, you can't help but eat rice on all days. All right, on Ekadashis also you have rice. He says, Rama mane graso grasi tochi jevila upavasi. Who eats rice, and for every what do you call a bite, for every handful of rice that you're taking, you say Rama Rama. He is definitely at an elevated position than someone who is fasting and who is cribbing about being hungry. You have rice, you chant Ram Nama and have rice, enjoy. It's okay, no problem. You're definitely at an elevated position. So don't stretch if your body says, no, I can't do it. Fine. Nalage sayas. Jave vanantari. Don't say, I have to go to forest, I have to quit everything and then I will do all these things. Where is a cave here? The moment we go to a forest, we close our eyes. Now our mind becomes so dreadful. Is a tiger going to come and attack me? I feel something wriggling down under. Is that a worm? I can hear some noise here. Is that an insect? I am having a lot of mosquito bites. I am having some itching. So, in pictures it looks good to see people meditating in the forest. But if we actually start doing it for the urban beings that we are, it's going to be a tough experience because we are just not used to anything that's natural. Nalage sayas jave vanantara. Then sukhe ye to ghara narayana. Comfortably sit at home. Have fan, have AC, whatever you want, you put. Sukhe ye to ghara narayana. Chant Narayana inside our home. That is enough. Nama Sankirtana, sadhana paisopi. It's the easiest of all margas. Don't strain yourself. It is this dharma of Kali Yuga that Nama Sankirtana is the easiest way to attain. So we don't have to really exert and try to do something that we are not designed to do for. Right? So when we look at all our bhaktas, what have they done? Ishtan dattam tapojaptam vrittam yachatmani priyam. We look at all the bhaktas, they have done exactly this. We say, Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. That's how we usually begin, right? Gopika Jivana Smaranam. So we are doing remembrance of the gopis who always remembered Krishna in their life. So why are we remembering the gopis first instead of remembering Krishna? Because remembering gopis is our way to get inspired, and with those blessings they will help us attain that state that those gopis enjoyed. They went about with their usual mundane duties. They weren't extraordinary people. The men and women of Vraja, the gopis, gopastris, they were not even educated. They went about churning milk, getting butter, selling them. But whatever they did, they always did that with remembrance of the Lord. When one gopi set about selling butter, they were all women entrepreneurs, to think of it. They used to make their own butter and they used to sell it. So one gopi, she was so much filled with the remembrance of Krishna that instead of saying, do you want butter, do you want curd, do you want milk, she said, do you want Krishna, do you want Damodara, do you want Govinda? She went about chanting the names of Lord like that. To that level, they were fully immersed in the remembrance of Krishna. And the crest jewel of all the gopis, Radharani. Radharani is the epitome of bhakti. So when we think of Krishna bhakti, when that bhakti finally attains the form, then that form is the beautiful form of goddess Radharani. In Sri Jayadeva's Gita Govinda, Jayadeva gives a beautiful picture of how well immersed Radharani was in the remembrance of Krishna. So when she thought that Krishna didn't include her in the rasa and went about having a good time with the rest of the gopis without having her, she couldn't forget. She couldn't forget him. Though she tried, she couldn't forget him, and She was so full with this feeling for Krishna, so full of bhakti, that even a simple necklace that she was wearing, it weighed so heavy on her because her heart was so heavy. Even she couldn't bear the weight of a small necklace that she was wearing. She didn't feel like having any ornament on her body because she was so sad to think that Krishna forgot her. So this is the epitome of bhakti. When we constantly think of someone and to think that he is not thinking of us, it pains us, right? And when this feeling becomes divine, when this feeling becomes that of Radha and Krishna bhakti, then that is a divine pang of separation, and there is an ecstasy in this separation pang, and that ecstasy is divine by nature. स्तनवीटिहितमपि हारमुदागारो स्तनवीटिहितमपि
हारमुदारम्
सामनुते कृशतनु रतिभारो
कृशतनुगुवदिबारम्
राधिका कृष्णा
राधिका कृष्णा
राधिका विरहे तव केशवा
राधिका विरहे तव केशवा
राधिका राधिका श्वसित पवनम् अनुपम परिणामम्
वसित पवनम् अनुपम परिणामम्
मदन दकनमिव वकति सदाकम्
वदन
वकति सदा राधिका
कृष्णा
हरि रीति जपति सकामम्
हरि रीति जपति सकामम्
हरि रीति जपति सकामम्
हरि रीति जपति सकामम्
हरि 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 हरि
हरि हरि हरि हरि
हरि रीति जपति सकामम्
हरि रीति जपति सकामम्
विरक विगीत मरणे वनिकामम्
विरग विहित मरणे वनिकामम्
राधिका 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 So when Radhika had this deep pang of separation, what did she do? She chanted Hari, Hari Riti, Japati Sakamam. So that is why we are doing Smarana of Gopis. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. When we are trying to remember the Gopis before we start a satsang, we are offering our salutations to these great bhaktas. We also say Janaki Jivana Smaranam, Jai Jai Rama Rama. So, before we remember Sri Rama, we are actually remembering Janaki, his consort. Why? Because she was so devoted to him and she had nothing else, no one else apart from him. And her heart was so filled with remembrance for Rama. This is seen especially when she was in Ashokavana, when she was held in captivity by Ravana. And in this song by Arunachala Kavi, where Hanuman visits, finally manages to meet Sita Devi and comes back to Sri Rama and reports to Rama about how Sita Devi is doing. He tells that Sita Devi in the Ashokavana is in a very bad state. She is wearing torn clothes. She has not even made her hair. She looks so tired. She looks so sad. She is crying in deep agony and constantly chanting your name. But yes, I did manage to see her. Kanden, 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 Sitaye Kanden, Raghava, Nan Kanden, 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 Sitaye Kanden, Raghava, Nan Kanden, 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 Sitaye Kanden, Raghava, பனிகால வாரிஜம் போல நீரம் பூஷி பகலோடு இரவாகி கழித்தாளே பிராயாசி பனிகால வாரிஜம் போல நீரம் பூசி பகலோடு இரவாகி கழித்தாளே பிராயாசி நினை தங்கே ராவணன் அண்ணால் வரே சற்று நில்லடா என்று ஏச்சி நினை தங்கே ராவணன் அண்ணால் வரே சற்று நில்லடா என்று ஏசி தனித்து தன் உயிர் தன்னை தான் விடான் மகராசி தனித்து தன் உயிர் தன்னை தான் விடான் மகராசி சாகும் போதே நானும் சமயம் இதே வாசி இனிதான் தாமதம் செய் ஆதாரனிடர் பேசி ராமா 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 என்று எதிர்பேசி இனிதான் தாமதம் செய் ஆதாரரிடர் பேசி ராமா 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 என்று எதிர்பேசி கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் ராகவா நான் கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன் ராகவா ராகவா ராகவா. Even in that state of despair, she was constantly chanting Rama, 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 Rama. So Janaki Kanta Smaranam, Jai Jai Rama Rama. That is why we are remembering these eternal couples, Even when we want to remain in Grihastha as husbands and wives, you want to lead a family life. See, we have these great examples how they lived for each other. They lived as a great couple. And how that transcends all mundane meanings for existence, and how does that get into a divine state is by remembering these divine couples. So when we say Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda, you are remembering the eternal pair of Radha and Krishna. When we say Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jai Jai Rama Rama, we are remembering the eternally divine couple Sita and Rama. And we say Namav Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva. We describe Parameshwara as Samba Sadashivan. It's a very common name, right? Samba Sadashivan. What does that mean? Samba Sadashivan means Sa Amba Sadashivan, one who is along with the Amba, because he is Ardhanarishwara. He has given half of his body to his better half, right? So when we talk of these divine couples, we find them constantly chanting the names. In Srimad Bhagavata, Sati Devi, who is an incarnation or an amsha of Parvati Devi, she herself describes the glory of the Shiva Nama to her father. Yadvayaksharam Nama Girerinam Nrinam Sakrit Prasangad Akhamashu Khantitad Pavitra Kirtim Tam Alankhya Chasanam Bhavanaho Dveti Shive Shivetraha. So that Shiva Nama Yadvayaksharam, the two akshara Shiva, even when we say it just casually, what Shiva Shiva, even if we say it like that, it bestows on us so much of goodness, so much of good fortune. Such is the glory of the name Shiva. And you have insulted that great person, oh my father, is what she says as Dakshayani. So all these Devis, be it Sita Devi, be it Radharani, or be it Sati Devi, who is an incarnation or an amsha of Parvati Devi, they have themselves shown us the way to remember the Lord, and that is by chanting. But how does this act of chanting, all great devotees have taken to Nama Japa or chanting, relentless chanting, and thereby remembering the God. But how is it that some people are blessed with this ability to keep remembering the Lord at all times and not all? The answer is, as our Watson says, it's elementary. Those who are chosen by Lord get this fortune. That's it. Kathopanishad says, Yamaivaisha vrinute tena labhyaha tasyesha vivrunate atma tanum swam. Those for whom the Atman decides to open up, those blessed hearts to whom the Atma decides, yes, this nectar and bliss is for you, for them, they alone get this happiness. Yamaivaisha vrinute, the Atma should choose us. So it's not that we have chosen to live a life like this. It's not that we have chosen divinity. Partly yes, but there is also a divine grace that has opened its door, which helps us do what we want to do. How is it possible? Many people think, yes, I also want to attend satsangs here. I also want to chant names. I want to sing bhajans. But what happens? I don't have time. I have a lot of problems in my life. I can't do this. Why does this act of getting into a divine bliss happen to some? It's because the Atman chooses them. Yamaivaisha vrinute tena labhyaha tasyaisha vivrunate atma tanum swam. Says the shloka says that for those to whom the Atma chooses to reveal itself, it will shine forth so brilliantly that in that light they can see nothing else but the Atman. So when Bhaktas, that is why for Bhaktas they see only Bhagavan everywhere. Namadeva saw a hungry dog, and to Namadeva's eyes it wasn't a hungry dog, it was Panduranga asking for food. So he ran behind it with chapati. And when the dog took the chapati, he again ran behind it with some ghee, saying, oh Panduranga, that chapati, that roti might be a bit dry, please have it with some ghee. Why? Because it's no longer a dog, it's a god for them. Right? So what gives that twist? The twist is this opening of the Atman within. So it is this opening of the Atman that is also shown in all these scriptures. Now we just enjoyed a few lines from Gita Govinda which reveals the love that Radha had for Krishna. But for Radharani to be able to think of Krishna, it was because Krishna was also constantly thinking of Radha the entire time. That is why Krishna tells, in this Ashtapadi, Krishna is seeing, really craving for darshan of Radha. And how is he doing that? with constantly remembering Radharani in his mind, he is chanting, "O Radha, O Radha, O Radha." So he is, crying, and with agony he is twisting and he is rolling on the floor like a maniac, chanting Radharani's name. Vasati vipidna vitane Radhe vasati vipidna
mayure Radhe
त्यजति ललितधाम राधे त्यजति ललितधाम राधे लूठति धरणी शयने
लुठति धरणी शयने राधे
बहुविलपति तव नाम राधे
बहुविलपति तव नाम राधे
तव वीर के वनमाली तव
वीर के वनमाली
सखी सीदती राधे राधे सखी सीदती राधे राधे तव विरके वनमाली So Bahu Vilapati Tava Nama. The Sakhi is telling to Radha, she is reporting to Radharani, see, Krishna is crying with your names. Bahu Vilapati, he is chanting out your names aloud and he is rolling on the floor out of grief. Oh Radha, won't you come and join Krishna? So what is it that made Radharani join Krishna? So Radharani here is a metaphor for the Jivatma. And Sri Krishna is a metaphor for the Paramatma. And the Sakhi who bonds them together is the Guru. So the Guru reminds the Jivatma that we are, see, you're all blessed souls. The very fact that you want to have darshan of the Lord or a feeling that you want to get connected with the higher power is because He has chosen you. Please don't let go of this opportunity, is what a Guru says. In Ramayana, similarly, Sita Devi can be seen as a metaphor for the Jivatma and Sri Rama is the Paramatma. When she sees a Maya Sarangam, an illusionary deer, which Lakshmana Swami says, he lists all the creations of Brahma and he says to Rama when they see that Maya Sarangam, the golden deer, see, such a creation, such a species to my knowledge doesn't exist in the list of species that Brahma has created. Surely something fishy about this. But still, the Jivatma got enticed and that is how she was separated from the Paramatma. Like that, we're also in this Maya Loka, which is not here. Maya itself means that which is not born. Aja, she's not here. She had never been here. But still, we have fallen prey to this. So we think that this is reality, and because we have taken something that is illusionary as real, we have got separated from the Paramatma. Though we are Sukha Swarupis, though we are from the Purna Tattva itself. So it is a Guru who comes and reminds us, see, you are an Amsha or a part of the Purnam. Wake up, shed away your ignorance. And In Ramayana, we can see how the Paramatma also, like how Krishna was doing Bahu Vilapati Tavanama. In Ramayana, Rama, like a mere mortal, he is crying out for Sita in the forest, asking the flowers, the trees, the rivers, have you seen Sita? Have you seen Sita? Like a madman in love. So, it is because the Lord has been constantly thinking of us that we are able to think back. In the Daksha Yaga, Sati Devi talks about Yadvayaksharam Nama Girerinam Nrinam, and then because she can't bear the insult that has come upon her husband, she burns herself. And out of this pain, waiting for Sati Devi to come back and rejoin Shiva, Parameshwara himself does a tapas. And that form of Dakshinamurti in the blessed place of Virahini Ganga, along the shores, banks of Virahini Ganga, he is sitting and he is in penance. Why is he in penance? Tatra Agnimadhaya Samit Samidhe Swameva Murtyantaramashtamurtihi Tatra Agnimadhaya Samit Samidhe Swameva Murtyantaramashtamurtihi Swayam Vidhata Tapasaf Phalanam Kenapi Kamena Tapaschachara Tatragnimadhaya Samit Samidhe. With a lot of firewoods, Lord Shiva as Dakshinamurti himself is doing a yaga and he is in deep penance. Swayam Vidhata Tapasaf. The Lord himself, the creator of all, why is he in tapas? He is in tapas because he is constantly thinking of Sati Devi. He is constantly wanting the Jivatma to come and get united with him. His penance is what is giving the energy to Devi to do her penance and rejoin him as Parvati Devi. Kenapi Kamena Tapaschachara, Kalidasa's beautiful shloka, where he is wondering why is the Lord himself doing tapas? The Lord is doing tapas because he wants to attain Parvati Devi. So in Shivananda Lahari, in the first shloka, the Acharya is offering his namaskarams to Lord Shiva and Parvati by calling them Parasparaf Phalanam. They are a result of each other's penance. Just because Shiva did penance, he attained Parvati Devi, and because Parvati Devi did her penance, she attained Lord Shiva. So the spouse is a result of the penance that we do. And if we see this penance as divine, then to think of that couple themselves becomes a divine act by itself. So this is how we are able to remember the Lord all the time. We are able to remember because we are one of the chosen few. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan offers his statistics for this. He says, Manushyanam Sahasreshu. One in thousands or millions, call it whatever you may, have this blessed thought that I should connect with the divine. And how do I connect with the divine? We talk about great people like Parvati Devi, Sita Devi, Radha Devi. They are all blessed souls. We have great devotees like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all Mahatmas who have that inherent blessing to get connected, Ramana Bhagavan. So all these people have an inherent blessing to get connected. But what about everyone? Everyone can't be a Ramana Bhagavan. Everyone can't be Swami Vivekananda. Everyone can't be a Janabai. Everyone can't be a Mirabai. So what about mere mortals like us? So for mere mortals, Bhagavan sent a small seed from up above and he planted the seed in the earth. And the seed was brought by Lord Narada himself. And the seed's name is Narayana Nimba Namada Bijava Narayana
Namada Bijava
Narayana Nimba Namada Bijava Narayana
Namada Bijava
Narada Biti Dayadara Yolage Narada Biti Dayadara Yolage Hari Narayana Hari Narayana
Hari Narayana Hari Narayana
மனவே ஹரிநாராயண என மனவே ஹரிநாராயண 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 ஹரிநாராயண. The seed was given to us, Narayana, Narayana. This beautiful name was given to us as an easy way to remember the Lord. So the seed here is not the Lord, but the Lord's name. Narayana Nama was a bijam given to us by Lord, affectionately brought to earth by Narada. How did Narada become eligible to do this? Because Lord Brahma, he conferred the right to Narada. In Srimad Bhagavata, the Lord himself gives this eternal knowledge, the supreme wisdom of Atma Vidya, to his first devotee, Lord Brahma. And then Lord Brahma gives this knowledge to his dear son Narada, and he says to Narada, "O Narada, I have given to you the knowledge that was given to me by the Lord Mahavishnu, Lord Narayana himself. You may take this forth and give it to everyone in a way, in a language that they will understand. Yadha harau bhagavatir nrinam bhaktir bhavishyati sarvatmanya adhare iti sankalpya varnaya." So to those people you preach bhakti. Yadha nrinam yadha sankalpya varnaya, that is, in whichever way they would get this bhakti. If people have a liking for dance, you give this bhakti in the form of a lot of dance. So in India we have a lot of dance forms: Otantullal, Kathakali, Yakshagana, Kathak. And in each and every dance form, the music is always divine. If you look at all our traditional art forms, there is no traditional art form which doesn't have the Lord's name in it. Isn't it wonderful? If you like music, you take kacheri, you have all Lord's names in such kacheri. You have music, and through music you give the Lord's names. If you like writing, if you like literature, Ramayana is the Adi Kavya. It's the first poetry. Even if you don't like Rama or Krishna, or I'm not religious, if you say like that, you treat Ramayana as the first form of as the first poetry, as the first poem. So beautiful as a literary piece in itself. Even if you don't look at it with a bhakti point of view, after you read it, bhakti will slowly come to you, because such is the power of that literature. So in our land, all our musicians, Vagayakaras, are great saints. The best of the best musicians, Lord Tyagaraja, Saint Tyagaraja, Bhadrachala Ramadasa, Muthuswami Dikshar. You take anyone, Surdas, Mirabai, any music composers, Vagayakaras, they are musicians par excellence. They are also saints. This formula somehow doesn't happen anywhere else. Take it as a research topic. Beethoven, I'm not sure if he was not a saint for sure. He was a genius. He has created music. We have a lot of musicians in Western music, but they're not necessarily saints. But in our land, there is divinity in music, and music by itself is divinity. So that is why, that is because the name Narayana, given in any form, it doesn't have to be in the form of a Bhagavata Saptaha. No, you give it in any form. Just that name Narayana is enough. Yadha harau bhagavatir nrinam bhaktir bhavishyati. In any form that will help people get devotion, that form you give. Brahma says Narada. Not necessarily, you don't have to tell people come to a Bhagavata Saptaha. Sometimes people will get scared. A chosen few have that liking to come. For many it doesn't happen that way. Okay, you give it to them in a form that they like. That will eventually pull them all to this, is what they say. Yadha harau bhagavatir nrinam bhaktir bhavishyati sarvatmanya khiladhare iti sankalpya varnaya. You describe the Lord's form in whichever way they like. So that is why even a great adharmakari like Ajamila got salvation. He got liberation, not because he was religious. He tread the path of adharma in whichever way was possible. But even for him, at the last hour of his life, he was fortunate enough to utter the word Narayana. That is the final purpose of this life, glorifies Bhagavata. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Bhyam Swadharma Parinishtaya Janmalabha Parapumsan Hante Narayana Smriti. Right? So, the purpose of even doing Sankhya Yoga, the purpose of sticking to one's own dharma, the entire purpose, the entire profitability, Janmalabha Parapumsan, the entire point of profit for having this Narajanma, for this birth, is to utter the name of the Lord at one's last breath. That Adharmakari Ajamila he attained. How? Because he named his last son Narayana, and when those dreadful Yamakinkaras they came, they're so fiery to look at, they're so scary, and it's really rare that one thinks of Lord's name at that scary moment, because at that last threatening hour, all sort of inauspicious sounds can come to our mouth. It's quite natural. But transcending that, he uttered Narayana, Narayana. He was not thinking of the four-armed Narayana, the one with yellow golden robes, or the one with the Vanamala, one with the gold kiridam, or one with a beautiful Makara Kundala. No, he was thinking about his son. His son was playing there. He was calling Narayana, and immediately Bhagavan's Parshadas came there, and they said to the Yama Kinkaras that, see, now he is our property, he has called our Lord's name, touch him not anymore. And they say, they list, see, you know what all are the bad deeds that this guy has done in a lifetime, we will list. So the Vishnu Parshadas say, I don't care, we don't care. Whatever be the papa, the non-dharmic bad deeds that he has done his entire lifetime, the point is he has uttered Narayana Nama at the last hour. Look at our blue book, our documentation says give him liberation. So we are here. Right? So that Narayana Nama is what gives us liberation. Whether we do it with faith, without faith, whether we know the glory, we don't know the glory, they don't insist. You take a tablet. Should you study MBBS? Should you study the composition of that medicine in order to realize its benefits, or to get rid of a fever? No, right? So that tablet, the act of taking the tablet alone is itself to relieve ourselves from the ailment, right? Similarly, we don't have to know the glory of the Lord's name. We don't really have to understand the entire thing in depth. You do that, well and good. Even otherwise, liberation is granted, is what Bhagavata says. So, with that backdrop on the glory of Smarana, so once we take to this constant chanting, so it is this constant chanting which helps us to bring forth this remembrance. That is why our saints insist you chant consistently, It is for us to pass the exam in the last minute of our breath. It is for that one time. Like, we have, I don't know about the current times, but in our times, 10th standard was a huge affair. Oh, 10th. Like a horror movie, people will say. Which standard? 8th. Oh, in 2 years, 10th. If we say 9th, in 1 year, 10th. So what is this 10th? So people consistently give you heart attacks, right? So why do they do that? Because any exam, any model paper that you do is to help you cross that 10th standard examination, right? Like that, anything that you do in your lifetime is to help you fill yourself with the remembrance at the nth hour. So before we enter into something that will help us remember his name, it is really important to understand what is it that helps us bring us closer to that act of remembrance. Blindly, I can't say you chant consistently, that is enough. No. When we do it with a lot of fervor, a lot of bhava, that itself blooms as a beautiful flower that can be offered at the Lord's feet. And to attain that state, it's really important for us to think how even great Mahatmas, so we took example of Radharani, Sita or Parvati, how they have been consistently thinking or chanting of the Lord's name. And for us to chant, it's more important for us to feel blessed, to feel we have to have that overflowing feeling of gratitude towards Lord. See, instead of making us doing this and that, whatever we are doing in the midst of all our troubles, He has given us so many scriptures, so many Puranas, so many good holy things to remember. When we think of the Lord's love for us, what has made us sit here, then automatically our heart will start chanting. And that consistent chanting is called Haripaat. That is the constant chanting. So the word Haripaat literally means the efficacy of chanting Harinama. That is the meaning. The efficacy of chanting Harinama is Haripaat. So Haripaat is a set of 27 abhangs, and these abhangs, they can be sung or they can be chanted, they can be recited in any manner, and all these 27 abhangs re-emphasize on the glory of the Lord's names, the glory of Satsanga, which helps us come back to Lord's names, and the greatness of a Guru. This is what is being reiterated time and again through this 27 abhangs. So here, we are here to enjoy the sweetness of Haripaat. So Haripaat belongs to, the Haripaat has been written by Saint Jnaneshwar Maharaj, and this belongs to the glory of Varakari Sampradaya. So before we understand what is Varakari Sampradaya, it doesn't matter. Once we start savoring the sweetness of Harinama, of Haripaat, that devotion itself will take us closer to Lord Panduranga, Mauli Jnaneshwar. So let us start savoring the sweetness of Haripaat. So we all have this book with us. So if we open this book, the first Haripaat, let us enjoy a few Haripaats along with their meaning, the Bhavartha, and that will help us consistently stay in the divine remembrance. And the divine remembrance, the way to the divine remembrance is by constant chanting of Harinama, right? So let's look at the first Haripaat. देवाची ये द्वारी उभा क्षण भरी तेने मुक्तिचारी साधियेल्या
देवाची ये द्वारी उभा क्षण भरी तेने मुक्तिचारी साधियेल्या
हरि मुखे म्हणा हरि मुखे म्हणा पुण्याची गणना कोण करी
हरि मुखे म्हणा हरि मुखे म्हणा पुण्याची गणना कोण करी
असोनी संसारी जिकवे वेगू करी वेदशास्त्र उभारी बाह्य सदा
हरि मुखे म्हणा हरि मुखे भारी भाग्य सदा
ज्ञानदेवा मने व्यासाची ये खूणे
मणी व्यासाची ये खूणे
ज्ञानदेवा मने व्यासाची ये खूणे ज्ञानदेवा मने व्यासाची ये खूणे द्वारकाचे रान पांडव घरी ज्ञानदेवा मने व्यासाची ये खूणे द्वारकेचे रान पांडव घरी हरि मुखे म्हणा हरि मुखे म्हणा पुण्याची गणना कोण करी
हरि मुखे म्हणा हरि मुखे म्हणा
पुण्याची गणना कोण करी पुण्याची गणना कोण करी पुण्याची गणना
कोण करी.
The first abhang, Mauli Shri Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, देवाचे ये द्वारी उभा क्षण भरी तेने मुक्तिचारी साधियेल्या. He is called Mauli, Jnaneshwar Maharaj. Why do we call him Mauli? Mauli in Marathi means mother. But he is a male. So, why are we calling a man a mother? Because for the blessed eyes, he is not a man. He is a direct incarnation of the Lord himself. He is the Lord himself. And because that Mahatma, with so much of compassion, has given to us the glory of the Lord's name, has given to us the teachings of Lord Krishna, has given to us all these supreme benefits, with the compassion of a mother, we address Jnaneshwar, Sant Jnaneshwar Maharaj as Mauli, as a mother. So in the first Abhang, like a mother calls all her little children to come and partake in a meal, or we want to have our children sit in a satsang. So initially they will say, no ma, I don't want, it's so boring. There should be some benefit for them, right? So what does a mother do? Mother says, see, I have made delicious payasam, kheer as prasada, which the child loves. So once the satsang is over, if you sit properly as a good boy, as a good girl, I will give you this prasad, right? The child will come and sit. Not for the satsang, but for the prasad. Similarly, Jnaneshwar Mauli is inviting us to the divine temple of the Lord, saying, Devachiye dwari ubhakshanabhari. Come and sit at the temple of the Lord. Kshanabhari. I'm not asking you to do like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. No, not even 1 hour. A kshanab, a second, that's enough. Come. For 1 second you come and sit. What is the benefit? What is the chocolate that Mauli is offering us? Tene mukti chari sadhiyelya. Wow. 4 types of moksha. We have sarupyam, salokyam, samipyam, sayujyam, all different forms of liberation. Where some people, they consistently think of Lord Krishna and they look like Lord Krishna, like Uddhava. When you think of, when you look at Uddhava, it's as if you're looking at Lord Krishna. For us, sometimes we have gurus and some shishyas. If you look at the shishya, immediately you are reminded of the guru, because they look so similar to the guru. That is some kind of a sarupya mukti. They have been consistently thinking of that Lord or their guru. They resemble them so much. We have samipya. Samipya is some blessed souls get to stay in the place where the Lord is. Like some people stay in Vaikuntha. So let's not go all the way to Vaikuntha. If you love Pandharpur, some people stay in Pandharpur. In Govindapuram, many people are buying land in Govindapuram and shifting. They want to stay there close to their God. So that is samipya. You stay very close to the one that you love the most. That is also a type of moksha, because that gives you eternal happiness. So that's moksha. So we have samipya, sarupya, salokya in the same abode. So similarly, you stay in the same abode as your Lord. That is also a moksha. Well, like some people go and settle in Srirangam because they want to stay close with Lord Ranganatha. So that is salokya mukti. So for samipya, we have a consistent set of disciples following one guru. Wherever that pravachan is, they go. So they're always in close connection, close proximity with the guru. That is some kind of a samipya moksha. And the ultimate is sayujya. There can be physical constraints stopping you from traveling, following your deity, or going to a separate place and staying there. Or you may not look like that person, but constantly thinking of that person in your heart. In your heart, spontaneously you are given that gift of total realization of the Lord. That is sayujya moksha. So these are the 4 types of moksha, of liberation. Which liberation means what? It no longer makes you suffer the pangs of the mundane world. That is it. Padma patram ivambasi, says the Lord in Gita. It's like a droplet of water on a lotus leaf. The droplet is in the leaf, but is the droplet of water really affected by the leaf? No. It just shines like a diamond, even if it is in that muddy waters. It doesn't look like one of them. It is because it stays aloof. Padma patram ivambasi. So that is sayujya moksha. So these are the chocolates that Mauli, Jnaneshwar Mauli, is offering us. Devachiye dwari ubhakshanabhari tene muktichari sadhiyelya. So what should you do in order to get this chocolate of moksha? Hari mukhe mana Punyachi ganana kaun kari. With your mouth you start chanting the name. Hari mukhe mana. He's not telling Hridi mana. With your heart you chant, cry and have tears. Just chant with your mouth. If you can't make it, fake it. Fake it, he says. Hari mukhe mana, hari mukhe mana. With your mouth you start chanting. I am not asking you to do anything else. Hari mukhe mana, hari mukhe mana. See how much of fortune you can earn just by chanting. How much of punyam you can earn. Punyachi ganana kaunakari. Like a mother is offering. See, I'll buy you a new car. I'll give you this toy. I'll give you this prasad. I will take you to a circus. I will take you out. Please come and sit now for 1 second. Like that, Mauli is telling Punyachi ganana kaunakari. Who can count the number of benefits that you can attain by just simply chanting the name of the Lord with your mouth, not even with your heart. Hari mukhe mana, hari mukhe mana. So, if I have to chant, should I wear saffron ochre? No, I can't. Morning coffee itself I can't skip for 1 day. What kind of material comforts can I let go? Who is asking you to let go? Asoni samsari jikwe vegu kari. Asoni samsari. You remain as samsarins is what he says. I am not asking you to take up sannyasa. I am not asking you to leave your home. I am not asking you to do something extraordinary. No, remain as who you are, where you are, what you are doing. Change nothing, absolutely nothing. Asoni samsari. But jikwe vegu kari. With your tongue, you just chant the name. Vegu kari. Just give a practice to your tongue to constantly chant. That's it. Asoni samsari jikwe vegu kari. Now, whatever marga is given to us as a means of liberation, it should have a Veda pramana. Vedas should proclaim so. Just because some god man is telling, see, this is a new technique of liberating yourself, and I have taken a patent in this. Don't fall for it. That is not what our scriptures say. Scriptures say there is only one, ekameva advitiyam, and the path to attain that is also one. Mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha, says Bhagavan in Gita. Any path is my path. If it is not Bhagavan's path, then it's not a path at all. That's why Adi Shankara Bhagavad Bhata says in Viveka Chudamani, I will show you the path to liberation through which many realized men have travelled. And they have attained. Ma bhaishta vidwan tavanastya payaha yenapi yate yatayostya paraha tameva margam tava nirdishami. That marga which countless sages, rishis, munis have undertaken, I will show you the very same path. I am not going to show you any different path. So, the marga that we take should be the one that is glorified by our Vedas and Shastras. If it is anything apart from this, then we call that Pakhandam. Pakhandam is, it is not in scripture, so it is not something that we should subscribe to. So it's not a Pakhanda Marga. Veda Shastra Ubhari Bahya Sada. When you chant, the Vedas and Shastras will get up and welcome you with their hand held up high. With so much of a welcoming spirit, the Vedas and Shastras will welcome you if you just start chanting the Lord's name. Okay? Jnanadeva mane vyasachiye khune. So here again, continuing with the previous lines, see, this is a marga that is mentioned in the Vedas. So all great men say, I have not told it. Our seniors, our great men, our illumined souls, they have shown. I am only showing that way. That is why we call our gurus Deshikas. They are the ones who show us the way. They are Deshikas. So here Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, see, Jnanadeva Mane, I am telling this, but who has given it to us? Vyasachiye khune. One of the most important functions or celebrated day, Sonyancha Dinu, that we should offer is Guru Poornima. And this Guru Poornima is in celebration, is in reverence to the Guru of all the Gurus that we have, Vyasara, right? So he is the one who has given us everything. So here Jnaneshwar Maharaj says it is that Vyasa who has given us. Vyasatsiye khune dwaraketsa rana pandava khari. Here, Vyasadeva has given us this path of Nama Sankirtana. 17 Puranas Vyasa gave us, 17 Puranas, and then Vyasa gave us Mahabharata, where he has glorified Dharma. What are the do's, what are the don'ts, what is good, what is bad. And he expected people to really take that as a doctrine, take that as a blue book, and start following that religiously. Never happened. People continue to be in that same path as they are. This really pushed him into depression. As someone who has given this, we give a huge lecture to our child on something. See, you should do this, you should do this, this is why you should do this is why you shouldn't be doing this, that. And next day you find that kid doing the same thing. It irritates you, yes or no? Yes, right? Similarly, Vyasa has given Mahabharata with so much of things that people are supposed to do, and he finds them, as in Malayalam we say, Shangaram Veendum Tengil Thane. Nothing of these Upadeshams work. It pushed him into great depression. And finding him in depression, Narada Muni once visits him and he finds Vyasa in this depressed state, and he asks what is the cause, and Vyasa tells. So Narada gives this Upadesha. Oh Vyasa, it is because you have been obsessed with this idea that if you preach everyone on righteousness, that will bring them to righteousness. The weird fact is, no, it doesn't. That is why we can't have a satsang on the constitution. I have a Constitution of India open. I talk about what are the rules, fundamental rights. It's not going to make us, for example, abiding to income tax. If we teach people how to compute tax, how to take a salary, and how to do all those things, if we teach them how to pay the tax, it's not going to work. They aren't going to feel triggered to pay tax. That is why government gives us this feeling of responsible citizenship. So it gives us instills in us a sense of responsibility, which will then help us go, okay, let me find out the tax rules. So what is it that they are campaigning? They are campaigning us to become responsible citizens, and that helps us to file our taxes on time. Similarly, Vyasa, stop telling people the rights and wrongs. Who likes advices? Do we really like? No. So instead, you do a grantha which has the Lord's name in abundance. Just that name will do. You have a grantha where the Lord's leelas, the playful pastimes, are described in abundance. Give them a lot of stories to cherish, to have satsangs, to sing about, to dance about, to talk about. People will do that, and they will find their company amongst blessed souls, among the Paramahamsas, and this will help them come to the marga of dharma. 2-3 satsangs we sit, we will have this feeling, yes, I need to find out what my dharma is. I need to find out what is the existence of my living. I need to find out the purpose for my life. Let me ask someone. And once this thought comes in, a guru comes before us. We don't have to inquire. We don't have to put a wanted guru board. No, that's not required. Once we are ripe, like how? Once we are ripe enough for the Atma to choose us. Yamai Vaishya Vrunate Tena Labhyaha. At that point, when we are ripe enough, the right guru, the right teaching, the right scripture, everything will come to us. So this is what Narada advised to Vyasa, and he says this is the primordial or the most supreme purpose of anything, of any tapas, of any yaga, of studying anything, of devoting our time to anything. Cherishing the Lord's names or thinking about him, describing him, is the supreme purpose of one's existence. Idam hi pumsaha tapasa shrutasya va suktasya svishtasya cha buddhidattayo avichchitortha kavibhir nirupitaha. Again Narada says, I didn't say this, okay, kavibhir nirupitaha. See, this is a trait of all Mahatmas. Even all great men have glorified this. Idam hi pumsaha, this alone. Svishtasya suktasya cha buddhidattayo. You have great intellect. You have great tapas. You have mastered the Shastras. You are an erudite scholar. Well, the very purpose of all these intellectual gifts is Uttama Shloka Gunanuvarnanam. It is to describe the Uttama Shloka. Uttama Shloka means the Lord himself. Supremost person. There is nothing or no one more supreme than the Lord. So, to glorify him is the ultimate purpose of this human life in whichever form you like. So, just as Arjuna's Vasana was in fighting, Vyasa's vasana is in writing. So, you write a scripture that will glorify the Lord's name. And that is how Bhagavata Mahapurana came to us as the 18th Purana. So, here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is telling, in that 18th Purana, last shloka says, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. That is the last word. In that 18th Purana, 12 cantos, so many adhyayas. He gave us stories after stories, divine teachings after teachings, and he says, Nama Sankirtana is a way in Kali Yuga to attain the Lord. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tam Namami Harim Param. So that is why here Jnaneshwar Mauli says, Jnanadeva Mane Vyasachiye Khune, Jnanadeva Mane Vyasachiye Khune, Dwarake Charane Pandava Ghari, Dwarake Charane Pandava Ghari. With constant chanting, an example, in our 2 marks question, in our 5 marks question, constantly we have a teachers telling, whenever a 2 mark or 5 mark question is asked, you write the statement, always give examples, right? Only when you give an example, your answer is deemed as complete. So here, Narada here Jnaneshwar Mauli has given us the way, and for example, he's giving us the example of Pandavas. He's telling, for example, the Pandavas. All of the Pandavas took to consistent remembering of the Lord's name. We talked about how Arjuna was saved by Lord Krishna time and again, because the seed was given by their mother. That is why we say motherland, mother food, mother tongue. Why not father food, father tongue, fatherland? Because the taste of mother, that comes to the children. Here, their mother's taste came to them. Mother food, Kunti Devi's food. What was Kunti Devi's food? Ahara. In Sanskrit, ahara means yat akhriyate ahara. Whatever you take in through all your senses, that is your food. So what is your mother food here? Mother tongue. What Kunti gave them was Bhagavad Bhakti. Kunti herself remembered the Lord in all her times of grief, and Krishna blessed them, saved them from all problems, just because she consistently remembered Lord Krishna. And all the Pandavas, 5 of them remembered Krishna, and that is why Krishna was there to rescue them. Even their wife Draupadi remembered Krishna in times of agony, so Krishna came saving her whenever she had a problem. Now Kunti's daughter-in-law Draupadi, and Draupadi's daughter-in-law Uttara. When Uttara had a problem, she also consistently remembered the names of Lord. So she said, when that Drauni Astra, Ashwatthama gave that Astra, and that Astra was about to enter her womb to kill her baby, to kill Uttara's baby, she fell at the feet of Lord Krishna. Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Devadeva Jagatpate Nanyam Tobhayam Pashe Yatra Mrityuf Parasparam. I see death everywhere. I see no one else to my rescue but you. Pahi Pahi Mahayogin. Oh Mahayogeshwara, you are capable of doing all miracles because you are a Mahayogin. Save me. And the Lord entered the womb in a thumb-sized form, all beautiful, 4-armed, divine, charming personality that he is, and his form there safeguarded the baby in the womb from this Drauni Astra. So if we see all those generations, all the men, the women in their family have been equally devoted to the Lord, that the Lord ended up not as a king to them, but not as a Dwaraketse Rana, but as a servant. Pandava Ghari, he was a Velakaran. So he cleaned, he bathed the horses when they were on the war. So he himself took care to cleanse the horse, to bathe them, to give them food, to give them water. And he did anything and everything for all these Pandavas, though he is a lord and they are devotees, but he ended up being a servant. Why? Because they took to consistent chanting of the Lord's name. Hari Mukhe Mana, Hari Mukhe Mana. That is why we have to chant. And that is why, now again if we revisit this Abhang, this is the beauty of Haripaat or any classic work. Surface level there is a meaning. But when you consistently chant, when you consistently contemplate on the meaning, deeper levels of meaning unfold. So if you look at it for a second time, Devachiye Dwari Ubhakshana Bhari. Now you tell me, what is Devachiye Dwari? Initially we told Devachiye Dwari is a temple. But the consistent chanting of Lord's names brings the remembrance of the Lord to you, that ultimately Devachiye Dwari is not just a temple per se, but we see the entire universe as the Lord's place of residence. There is an antaryami in each and every one of us. Right? So any being by himself is a Devachiye Dwari. Now how do we transcend this vision of seeing someone as a person, stopping to see someone as a person and starting to see them as the Lord's divine abode, is by consistent chanting. So now when we see everything, Sarva Bhuteshu yaf pashyet Bhagavad Bhavam Atmanaha Bhutani Bhagavatyatman Yesha Bhagavadottamaha, says Bhagavatam. When we see Sarva Bhuteshu pashyet, in all bhutams, in all beings, we see Lord Sarva Bhuteshu yaf pashyet Bhagavat Bhavam Atmanaha. We see that Bhagavat Bhavam, Bhutani, Bhagavatyatman, everything and anything we see Lord, He is a Bhagavata Uttama. He is the supremest devotee, says the Lord. So in that way, when we see the entire cosmos as the Lord's playground, Devachiye Dwari, Ubhakshana Bhari, you stay in that consciousness for a second. Tene Mukti Chari Sayadhilya. You have attained all four mokshas. What is there to attain? That is why Tyagaraja Swami says, Mukti kya khila shakti ki, Mukti kya khila shakti ki, Tramurtula kadi mel meram, Bhakti beech meyave, Bavu kamaguza Tvika Bhakti beech meyave. Muktiki Akhila Shakti ki Trimurtulaku Ati Melmi. What are all these Chari Mukti? Nothing in comparison to the supreme feeling of devotion. Muktiki Akhila Shakti ki Trimurtulakati Melmi. What is supreme most to all these things? Rama Bhakti. So Tyagaraja Swami says, Bhakti bichami away. Give me Bhakti. So what is the key to unlock all these realms of devotion, all these levels of bhakti? The key is a simple Harinama. That is why the consistent refrain for all these 27 Haripaat is the second line of the first Haripaat, which is Hari Mukhe Mana, Punyatsi Ganana Konakari. You consistently chant the name of the Lord, that will give you everything. Right? So next, we're just tasting some glimpses of Haripaat from here and there. Let us go to the fifth Haripaat, 5 out of 27. So in the fifth Haripaat, Jnaneshwar Mauli says, Yoga Yaga Vidhi Yeneno Ke Siddhi Vayachi Upadi Dambha Dharma. Yoga Yaga Vidhi Yeneno Ke Siddhi Bhave Vina Deva Nakale Nisandeha Guru Vina Anubhava Kaisa Kale. Tape Vina Devata Didhalya Vina Prapta Gurje Vina Hita Kaun Sange. Jnana Deva Sange Drishtantachi Mata Sadhuche Sangati Taranopaya. Hari Mukhe Mana, Punyachi Ganana Kaun Kari. Hari Mukhe Mana, Punyachi Ganana Kaun Kari. Punyachi Ganana Kaun Kari. Punyachi Ganana Kaun Kari. In this Abhang, Mauli describes the glory of Guru. He says, Yoga Yaga Vidhi Yene Nohe Siddhi Vayatsi Upadi Dambha Dharma. See, there are many ways to attain the Lord. Doing yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Yama Niyamas is one of them. Doing yaga as offerings, that is also definitely one way of attain. But these were methods prescribed to some other yugas, some other time zones. It doesn't apply to us. It's like saying, in our past we had kings who ruled us, but now we have democracy, so that's an obsolete method. We're not saying that it was an ineffective way of administering people, because we had great kings and they ruled their kingdom well, and all the prajas were quite happy. That worked at some point, but not anymore. So now democracy is the way, right? Similarly, in Treta Yuga, in Dwapara Yuga, Satya Yugas, we had a lot of ways of achieving the Lord, but not anymore. In this Yuga, which is Kali Yuga, the prescribed way to attain Lord is Nama Sankirtan. So, yoga, yaga, vidhi, yene, no, he, siddhi. All these yogas, yagas, they are not going to bestow you any benefit. So, Mauli is not condemning these forms of devotion. He is just telling us that it is not applicable anymore. That's all. So, what is it? Yene no vayachi upadi dambha dharma. Dambha dharma means false pride. You can say, I have done this, I have done that, I can do this Ashtanga yoga, I can do this yaga, that, all those things. Because inherently, for a yaga, for a small example I'm telling, the ghee that you offer, which is a very important offering in a yaga, that should be pure. But today we live in a time where the ghee is not pure. I don't know how much of that percentage is actual ghee. And the prescription is that the cows, even how they're bred, how they give birth to a calf, should be in a natural way, and the milk should be pure. And from that, to start with, the food that is given to these cows, that should be pure. I mean, we are injecting these poor little things with a lot of chemicals, with a lot of hormones. So this is all having an impact on the purity of ghee, for instance. So what you're offering there is not pure. So how can you even say that the very act of offering ghee in a homa is pure? So it is all dambha dharma. That's what Mauli is telling. It's all a matter of false pride. Do you know, I did this 10 times a day, I can do it. Like that, you take false pride in that. It's not going to actually help you attain anything. It's just going to massage your ego. Well and good, right? So vayachi upadi dambha dharma. Then what is required? You offer one small tulasi. Tulasi dala mulache santoshamuga pudinchu. Offer one tulasi. It's enough. Don't throw upon the Lord one huge pile of flowers that you imported from somewhere. One lorry full of flowers. No one is asking for that. Full of bhava. You offer one tulasi. That's enough. So what is important here is not that tulsi, it is your bhava. So bhave veena deva. Without that bhava, the Lord is not going to get pleased with you. Bhave veena deva na kale nisandeha. Without doubt. Without doubt, it is bhava that helps you, right? And who will help you instill this right bhava? This right bhava, only a guru can help to instill in us. So, Guru Veena Anubhava Kaisa Kale. Without the help of a Guru, how can we experience the supreme bliss, the nectarine bliss? It is a Guru who unfolds this happiness within. And the Guru will unfold within you the capacity to do that penance, that tapas. And it is this tapas, born out of this bhava, that pleases the Lord. Tapevina daivata didhalyavina prapta. Without doing this penance, you can't achieve the Lord. Tapaha is a very important word. Ramayana opens up with this word. Tapaswadhyaya niratam. It is a very auspicious word. This is the first word that came to Brahma once he was born. He was born out of a lotus and he opened his eyes. He didn't know who he is, where am I, who am I, how did I come here? And then he went inside the stem of the lotus. He traveled for years and years. And he finally reached the navel place of Lord Vishnu, from where this lotus bloomed. And what is it that prompted Lord Brahma? What is it that inspired him to do so much of creation without having that element of ahankara in him? It is this tapa, 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 tapa. He hears his word tapa. It is mentioned in a very cryptic way in Bhagavatam. And this cryptic way, Lord says, you have to do tapas. So tapas means wherever we put in our energy, we put in our effort, we put in our we put in our mind, that is our tapas. And even dances so beautifully. There's a lifetime or even beyond, many births of effort that they have put into that act of dancing. That makes him as a prodigy. Such prodigies are not born because in that one janma they started doing that. No. Years after, lifetimes after lifetimes, they have been doing that, practicing that. That brings forth a prodigy. So that tapas is what brings in the excellence, and the excellence, when it is offered to the Lord, it pleases him. Tape veena daivata didhalya veena prapta. And who really prescribes to you? It is a guru. If Arjuna left to himself, he would have quit fighting. Say, oh, I should not do fighting. It is ahimsa. We'll find a number of excuses, right? So I shouldn't fight. He lists all these problems beautifully well in the first adhyaya. He says, see Arjuna, just see Krishna, because I'm fighting, it will create a lot of agony, sadness, misfortune in my kingdom. We should stop. Let us stop fighting. Who cares for this land? Let us stop all this nonsense. No, Arjuna. Your vasana isn't fighting, you have to fight. Similarly, Lord Swami Vivekananda, when he was asked to preach and he was asked to inspire, he said, no, I am much happy in a room meditating and I am happy contemplating on the divine self. Then Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, no, that is your niyati. If you don't do it, every cell will start doing it. You have to do it. That is what you're born for. That is the avatara lakshya. You have to do it. Gurjevina hita kaunasange. Your guru will prescribe your dharma, and when that comes to you, when you do your activity as a penance, that pleases the Lord. Tape veena daivata didalya veena prapta gurje veena hita kaunasange. And Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, Drishtantachi mata. So, Jnanadeva sange Drishtantachi mata sadhuche sangati taranopaya. It is just the Sangha of saints that helps us realize this. So again, coming from the front, Yoga, Yaga, Vidhi, Yene, no Kesiti. These are not going to help you. Even in Bhagavata, we have the episode of Yajna Patnis, who were the wives of Brahmins, who were doing Yajna. They have been doing Yagas all their life, but when Bhagavan came to them, they didn't have that intelligence to sense that he is the one for whom they are performing all these Yagas. All these offerings that they have been putting in the fire is going to him. They didn't realize that. Who realized it? Their wives. Why did those wives realize? If we contemplate on this, they were doing their duty so dutifully. As wives of Brahmins, they were supposed to help these Brahmins do their yaga, and probably they have done their duty beautifully well. When the Lord came as a beautiful young boy standing before them with a flute in hand, with the Vanamala in his neck, with the yellow robe clad, and with a lotus in one hand and the other hand casually thrown upon on a friend, and he's just swirling the lotus and he's smiling, they offered themselves to Lord Krishna. And in Narayaniyam, Bhattadiri says they attained the Paramahamsa Gati. That is because they did their duty and they had this bhava in them, and because they had this bhava, Lord came to them and they were able to realize that that is the Lord. So here in this beautiful Tarangam, Narayana Tirtha sings, O Lord, who is the very form of Yajna, who is pleased by this Yajna, and whose offerings are then given to this Yajna, that Lord came to these Yajna Patnis. Yajna Samrakshana Yadava Vamshabharana. Yajna Samrakshana Yadava Vamshabharana. Yajna Phala Vitarana Yami Jana Sharana. yajna phala vitarana
jana sharana
ajnana gana samidana akila lokaika karana
ज्ञान घन समीरण अखिल लोकैक कारण
विज्ञान दलित वरण वेदांत वाक्य प्रमाण
वर्ण वेदांत वाक्य प्रमाण
बाल गोपाल कृष्ण पाहि पाहि बाल गोपाल
कृष्ण पाहि पाहि
नीलमेघ शरीरा नित्यानंदं देहि
नीलमेघ शरीरा नित्यानंदं देहि
नीलमेघ शरीरा नित्यानंदं देहि
नीलमेघ शरीरा नित्यानंदं
बाल गोपाल कृष्ण पाहि पाहि
गोपाल कृष्ण पाहि पाहि
Thus implores the Yajnapatnis to Krishna. Bala Gopala Krishna Pahi Pahi. You are Yajna, you are the Yajna Phala Vitarana. You are the one who bestows. You are the one, you are Yaga's epitomized form itself. Let us be blessed by that form. And the Lord revealed to them. So, Bhave Veena Devata Didalya Veena Prapta. It is this bhava that helps us achieve. So it doesn't matter what we offer. No, we have a great Shiva Bhakta who offered a piece of eaten meat to the Lord. Marga vartita paduka pashupate angasya kurchayate. In Shivananda Lahari, Acharya talks about this great devotee, Kannappa Nayanar, who saw a Shivalinga on the top of a hill, and he felt so much of compassion for the Shivalinga. He felt, oh, you are here all alone, unattended, and you are here with no one around to offer you anything. I shall do it. And what did he do? He went all the way down from the river. He thought Shivalinga, the Shiva would be feeling thirsty, and then he thought he would need some food. So what food does a hunter eat? He eats the meat. Ishtam dattam tapojaptam. What does he like? He likes meat. And he tasted a piece of a boar meat to see if it is tasty. Yes, I can take this as an offering. So he took the meat in one hand. He wanted to offer the Lord some flowers. So he plucked something, and then he wanted to give some water. Where can I carry? Probably he didn't have a bucket. So he took some water in his mouth. He walked all the way up, and he spat on the Shivalinga. That is his way of offering some water to the Shivalinga. So here Acharya says, Bhaktavatam Sayati, that made him the crest jewel of all the bhaktas. This act of spitting on the Lord Shiva Linga, giving him eaten meat, and then the story is not complete. That is when he sees that Shivalinga doesn't have eyes. So he plucks one eye and he places his eye on the Shivalinga, and now he has to place the other eye and place it on the linga. So if I am to remove this eye too, how will I look, so that I know which position it has to be placed? So he took his feet, he stamped on the Shivalinga, he placed it on the position where he is supposed to keep that eye. So with that feet he stamped on Shivalinga, which is a maha apachara. It's a great insult per se, right? But when he did it out of bhava, it became the supremost puja. So he kept his feet with those slippers he was wearing. Marga vartita paduka pashupate angasya kurchayate. That became a seat for Bhagavan. And he plucked his other eye. He became totally blind. With this devotion, he was so full of devotion. We say love is blind. So, supreme devotion to Bhagavan is also blind. It defies all logic. So, he keeps that eye where he had kept his feet. And here, Acharya says in Shivananda Lahari, मार्गावर्तित पादुका पशुपतेः अंगस्य कुर्चायते गण्डूषाम्बुनिषेचनं पुररिपोः दिव्याभिषेकायते यत्किच् भक्षित मांसशेषकबलं दिव्या नव्योपहारायते भक्ति किं न करोति अहो वनचरो भक्तावतं सायते. So what not can bhakti do? It can make a supremost devotee of a primordial hunter. That is the glory of bhava. Bhave veena deva na kale nissandeha. Gurje veena hita konasagi. Who else other than a guru can tell this? We have the beautiful story of Shabari also, right? Who with so much of devotion she offered the Lord with fruits. In Valmiki Ramayana, she offers him with fruits. But you know that story, when it is told with so much of devotion by great storytellers, even in Tyagaraja Swami's Kirtanas we can find that she has offered him eaten fruits. So it is not there in the primary text per se, but yada haro bhagavatir niranam bhaktir bhavishyati sarvatmani akiladhare iti sankalpya varnaya. It's a license given by Brahma to Lord Narada. So with that license, when storytellers, they say the story with so much of devotion, whatever additions they do, it is also accepted. So with this story that Shabari gave the Lord eaten fruits, that is also accepted because that is narrated, that story comes from the heart that is full of devotion. So that story also gets accepted. And when the Shabari gave this beautiful offering to Lord, what tapas did this Shabari do? Shabari didn't know a single shloka. She was just a tribal woman, and all she knew was just to do Guru Seva. And it was the Guru who told her that, see, I am going to the Brahmaloka now, and you have to remain in this ashram, take care of this ashram until Lord Rama comes. And when Rama comes, offer him fruits, you give him a lot of offerings, and with that your penance is complete. You can then come and join me. So she was just waiting for Rama to come, and when Rama came, she really enjoyed every bit of Rama's beauty with all her eyes. Kannulara sevinchi Kannulara sevinchi kammani balamulanu sagi Kannulara sevinchi kammani balamulanu sagi tanuvu pulakarinchi padayugamulanu mrogi ina kulapati samugam punaravretiregita padamunu padina tyagaraja nutunani punyam puna enta ninne padamunu padina tyagaraja nutunani punyam puna enta ninne varnintudu shabati bhagya enta ninne varnintudu shabati bhagyam. With all her eyes, she savored Lord Krishna, Lord Rama. Lord Rama was enjoying the fruits, and Shabari was enjoying the fruits of her penance. Kannulara sevinchi kammani phalamula mosaki. She attained the fruit of her penance, says Tyagaraja, and she was blessed with that bhagya which not even the divine wives of rishis attained. Dantula varakantalu jagamanta nindi undaga. To that position she was elevated, and you know what? Rama can't even take responsibility for an iota of this bliss. Because he was only a Shabari Moksha Sakshi Bhuta. In Raghuvira Gadya, Deshika says he is only a Sakshi Bhuta. He is a mere witness to this miracle. How can just bhava, how can total surrender to a guru alone take us to the Paramapada? Shabari is the epitome of an example for this. Because she didn't do a yaga, she didn't do any yajna, she didn't do any penance of her own. Whatever her guru instructed, she just merely kept on chanting the name of Rama, and she just waited and waited. Tapevina Devata Didhalyavina Prapta. And how did she do this? Gurjevina Hita Karnasange. Without Matangamuni telling this to her, would she have done that? Gurjevina Hita Karnasange. So Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, Drishtantachi Mata. He says, emphatically I can tell you this. With example, evidentially. With evidence. Drishtantachi Mata, with examples, Sadhuche Sangati Taranopaya. Just with the company of saints. And how did Shabari come in contact with such a guru? Did she have that realization? Yes, I should go to a guru. She was a tribal woman, just eating this and that. In Tamil we say, Kandade Kachi Kondade Kolam. Living life as per one's whims and fancies. How did she get elevated this level? This is because she was there in the company of this of the disciples of Matanga Rishi. She saw how the disciples were serving their guru. She saw the bliss, the ease, the sukham that these disciples were enjoying, and something inside her told, yes, I should also have this happiness. I should also become one of them. And that is how she started doing kainkariya to these people. She just swept the floor, she plucked flowers for them, she kept things ready for the puja, and this act made the Guru Matanga notice her, and that bestowed on her the supremost bliss. Gurje Veena Hita Konasake. Bhave Veena Devata Didalya Veena Prapta. It is this bhavam that gives us this bliss. So in Ekadasha Skanda, Bhagavan gives an entire list of devotees who have attained him. Kevalena hi bhavena gopyo gavo naga mrigaha yene moodhadiyo nagaha siddha mamiyu ranjasa. Kevalena hi bhavena. Just with this bhavam alone. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Doesn't he list? In Gita he lists. The same list figures up in Bhagavata also. This is one shloka among a very few ones that is repeated in Bhagavad Gita as well as in Bhagavata. It is this list. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. That is, you give me at least this, that's enough, chalega. But how? With lot of devotion, with bhavam. Kevalena hi bhavena gopyo. The gopas achieved me. Gavo, the cattle. Naga mrigaha, even the animals, birds have attained me. Yaknyapati is attained. Yaknyapatni is attained. Sugriva attained. Vanikpataha, lot of merchants have attained me. Vibhishana, Sugriva, Danavas like Vritrasura have attained. It's a huge list out there who haven't done any penance or who haven't been erudite enough to read Shastras or tread the yogic mark. No, they were mere mortals, but they had that bhava in them. So that is what Kevalena hi bhavena gopyo gavo mriga khagaha yene moodhadiyo. Even if you are a simpleton, it's a beautiful word in English. You can give a compliment. Oh, you are a simpleton. Sounds nice, no? You can perceive it as someone who is simple. No. Simpleton is an absolute idiot. That is a literal meaning of the word simpleton. Simpleton means someone who is stupid. It sounds like someone who is simple, but actually it means you're an absolute idiot. So even such simpletons, such idiots, vidhi kushmandams, they have attained me just because they had this bhava. So, tape veena daivata didhalya veena prapta gurje veena hita. But it is that Guru's grace that helps us cross this. Hita konasage. So, drishtantachi mata jnanadeva sange sadhuche sangati taranopaya. It is just that grace of Guru. So, with that grace of Guru, that is an important factor. And then, let us next move to the 16th Haripaat, with which that will be the last Haripaat we'll be having a look at. The 16th Haripaat says, हरि बुद्धि जपे तो नर दुर्लभ वाचेसी सुलभ राम कृष्ण हरि बुद्धि जपे तो नर
दुर्लभ वाचेसी सुलभ राम कृष्ण
राम कृष्ण नामी उन्मनी साधली तयासी लाधली सकल सिद्धि
राम कृष्ण नामी उन्मनी साधली तयासी लाधली सकल सिद्धि
सिद्धि बुद्धि जप हरि पाठियाले प्रपंचे निवाले साधु संगे सिद्धि बुद्धि धर्म हरि
पाठियाले प्रपंची निवाले साधु संगे
ज्ञान देवी नाम राम कृष्ण ठसायणे दश दिशा आत्मा राम
ज्ञान देव नाम राम कृष्ण ठसायेने दश दिशा आत्मा राम
ज्ञान देवी नाम राम कृष्ण ठसायणे दश दिशा आत्मा राम
ज्ञान देव नाम राम कृष्ण ठसायेने दश दिशा आत्मा राम
हरि मुखे मन पुण्याची गणना कोण करी
हरि मुखे मना पुण्याची गणना कोण करी
हरि मुखे मन पुण्याची गणना कोण करी
हरि मुखे मना पुण्याची गणना कोण करी
पुण्याची गणना कोण करी
पुण्याची गणना कोण करी
In this Abhang, Jnaneshwar Mavli gives us a paradox of this entire concept of japa. He tells, this marga is very simple. You don't need a specific qualification. You don't need a specific time. You don't need a state of mind. No aspects of purity or impurity even has an effect on you chanting. You can do this anywhere, everywhere. We have a beautiful story narrated by Ramana Bhagavan where he talks about the devotion of Sant Tukaram Maharaj. Tukaram Maharaj relentlessly chanted Ramakrishna Hari, Ramakrishna Hari. So even when he is going for number 2, he will sit there and he will chant. So in those days, we didn't have toilets. No? So people used to do it outdoors. So once it so happened, he was attending to the call of nature while chanting Ramakrishna Hari, Ramakrishna Hari. And that way, a Brahmin passed by and he rebuked Tukaram Maharaj for doing this. See, in such a dirty state you are chanting. Oh, how can you do this? So, this came from the mouth of a Brahmin. Tukaram Maharaj had utmost reverence for Brahmins. So, he didn't want to say anything against that, or he didn't want to offer a counter argument. So, he just closed his mouth. Okay, I'm sorry, like that. But he was so, every cell of his body was constantly used to chanting that when he closed his mouth, every single hair from his body stood up chanting Rama. That Nama came from every pore of his body. That was the intensity and the fervor with which Tukaram Maharaj chanted. And this story was narrated by Ramana Bhagavan. See how important all Mahatmas have considered Nama Japa. Despite being the utmost or the prominent way of attaining, Vachesi Sulabha Ramakrishna Hari Buddhi Jape to Nara Durlabha. It is very rare that one gets this feeling or one gets this opportunity to fall into the marga of Nama Japa. Though it is very easy, it is very difficult in this sense. Ramakrishna Nami Unmani Sadhali. So here, Jnaneshwar Mavli is talking about some yogic principles. This is why we chose this Abhang also amongst the many 27 Abhangs. We should look at who Jnaneshwar Mavli was. Jnaneshwar Mavli comes from a path which was predominantly into Hatha Yoga. We have Adinatha, it's called Nath Sampradaya, which is into Hatha Yoga. So we have Adinatha and we have from there Gahini Nath, we have Advaita Nath, Machendra Natha, Gorakshanatha. So all these people are into Hatha Yoga, they are yogins. And the path that they gave, it was not for the public. It is for only people who subscribe to that path, which is of that of Hatha Yoga. Only from, and it came to Nivritinath Maharaj, who was Jnandev Maharaj's elder brother, and from Nivriti it was passed on to Jnaneshwar Maharaj. And Jnaneshwar Maharaj, being the Mauli that he is, the mother, out of compassion. See, a mother realizes that, she knows this is the way to do this, but she sees all her children and she knows only some of her children are intelligent enough to catch hold of that concept. Let me do this in another way so that everyone can do it. Similarly, Jnaneshwar Mauli realized that this yoga marga is not for everyone, and the call of Kali Yuga is in Nama Sankirtana. So the same bliss that can be achieved from Hatha Yoga, he converted that into a Nama Sankirtana Paddhati, and that is how he gave us all this mantra of Rama Krishna Hari. So this Rama Krishna Hari mantra alone, in this Abhang he tells Rama Krishna Nami Unmani Sadhali. He talks about a term called Unmani. This is a word that comes in yogic texts. So this is a state of mind which is samadhi. So in Unmani, what happens is when a yogi does a lot of yogic practices and he masters that yogasanas, all his nadis attain shuddhi or purity. So all his chakras are open, and we have this Ida Pingala nadi, and we have nadi, a Sushumna nadi in between. And this Sushumna nadi also opens, and this prana crossing this Sushumna nadi, it travels through another nadi called Madhyama nadi, which happens only for spiritually elevated yogis who have been practicing yogic activities, alright? So yogasanas, yoga siddhi. So once that happens, it stops the gatagatam of prana. So now prana doesn't go, it doesn't come. Why do we lose energy? It is because we are spending prana. So this yogi now reaches a state when there is no credit, no debit. Prana doesn't go or come, and there is absolute sthiryata, which is stillness of mind. So when this stillness of mind comes, that is when they cross the 17th Jivana Kala and they reach the 18th. That is why in Shabarimala we have 18 padis. The 18th is the supremos. So this is according to, for this line, Ramakrishna Nami Unmani Sadhali Tayasi Laghali Sakala Siddhi. This is according to the commentary given by Sri Dunda Maharaj Deglukar. It's a beautiful commentary for Haripaat. So in this commentary he talks about this Unmani state, and this state has also been contemplated upon by Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada in the text Yoga Taravali. So in Sri Shailam we had this Satsang. In Sri Shailam it's a Yoga Bhumi. In Sri Shailam was also written, apart from Shivananda Lahari, this Yoga Taravali, where this state of mind, the Unmani, has been described by Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada. It is known as Manonmani state, which is the same Unmani state, where the mind subsides, the mind does, there is perfect stillness. And in this state, crossing the 17th Jivana Kala, that is, you have the Jnanendriyas, the Karmendriyas, Manasa, Buddhi, so we have all these 17 tattvas, and the 18th is this nectarine bliss, which this yogi experiences in the state of Unmani. Here, Mauli says, Ramakrishna Nami Unmani Sadhali. This supremo state of Unmani can be bestowed upon by the constant chanting of Rama Krishna Nama. So we don't have to think this marga is inferior to yoga margas. No. The same bliss which is conferred upon by such superior margas, which are difficult to master easily by consistently chanting. Mauli declares that confidently that this is achieved through this marga of Nama Japa. Therefore, he says, Harimukhe mana, punyati ganana kaun kari. So in the 27th Haripaat, the final Haripaat, he urges all his dear children, stop wasting time. Rikama ardha gadi rahu naku. Don't waste a single moment. Take to chanting. Take to chanting. We started with the Ashtapadi, where Radharani, where we saw Radharani's love for Lord Krishna. And there it is described that Kshanamapi viraha purana sehe nayana nimilita khinnayayate. Radharani wouldn't close her eyes. She wouldn't even bat an eyelid when Krishna is there, because she is scared. Even for that 1 second, I don't want to lose my darshan of Lord Krishna. Similarly, Tyagaraja says, Ninnu bhasiyara nimishamu orvanura nannu vidachi kadalakura Ramaya Rama Kodanda Rama Kalyana Rama Pattabhi Rama Ramaya Kadalakura Vadalakura Kadalakura Vadalakura Kadalakura Vadalakura Ninnu bhasiyara nimishamu orvanura Forgetting you, I can't even stay for a nimisham. Says Tyagaraja in this Prahlada Bhakti Vijaya. I can't stay away. This is Prahlada. So Prahlada is singing to Lord Narasimha according to this Gaya Nataka. But because it is Tyagaraja who is singing, his devotion comes. He says, Kalyana Rama, Kodanda Rama. Rama Avatara has never happened during the times of Prahlada. But just because it is Tyagaraja who is singing as Prahlada, this Rama Bhakti comes to him time and on. So here, to get that sort of a devotion, Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, don't waste time. Don't waste even a single moment. Rikama ardhagadi, raku nako. This entire universe, what you see here, is complete illusion. He gives you the supremmost jnana. He says, this prapancha, this world, is full of illusions. Don't fall prey to it. Realize the supreme in this janma by this easy marga of Nama Sankirtana. Sarva sukha godi sakhi shastre nivadi Sarva sukha godi Sarva sukha godi sakhi shastre nivadi Sarva sukha godi sakhi shastre nivrati Rikamarda gadi rakuna ko Rikamarda gadi rakuna ko Rikamarda gadi rakuna ko Rikamarda gadi rakuna ko Latika vyavahar sarvaha samsar Latika vyavahar sarvaha samsar Latika vyavahar sarvaha samsar Vaya yer dhar hari veed 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 Nama mantra jap koti jaila paap
Nama mantra jap koti jaila paap
Krishna nami sankalpa dharuni raho Krishna nami sankalpa dharuni raho Krishna nami sankalpa dharuni raho
Krishna nami sankalpa dharuni rahe
Nama gadi sarva maya todi Nija vritti gadi sarva maya todi Nija vritti gadi
ಕಾಡಿ ಸರ್ವ ಮಾಯ ತೋಡಿ
ಸವಡಿಲ ಪುನಾಕೋ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ
ಸವಡಿಲ ಪುನಾಕೋ
ಚಿತ್ತವೃತ್ತಿ ಭಾವ ಧರಿ ರೇ ಕರುಣಾ ಚಿತ್ತವೃತ್ತಿ ಭಾವ ಧರಿ ರೇ ಕರುಣಾ ಶಾಂತಿ ದಯಾ ಪಾಗುಣ ಹರಿ ಕರಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ದಯಾ ಪಾಹುನ
ಕರಿ ಕರಿ
ಶಾಂತಿ ದಯಾ ಪಾಹುನ ಹರಿ ಕರಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ದಯಾ ಪಾಹುನ ಹರಿ
ಕರಿ
ಜ್ಞಾನ ದೇವಾ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ದೇವಿ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಜ್ಞಾನ ದೇವಾ
ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ದೇವ ಜ್ಞಾನ
ಜ್ಞಾನ ದೇವಾ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ದೇವಿ ಜ್ಞಾನ
ದೇವಾ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ದೇವಿ ಜ್ಞಾನ
ಸಮಾಧಿ ಸಂಜೀವನ ಹರಿಪಾಠ ಸಮಾಧಿ ಸಂಜೀವನ ಹರಿಪಾಠ ಸಮಾಧಿ ಸಂಜೀವನ ಹರಿಪಾಠ समाधि संजीवन हरि पाठ हरि मुखे मना हरि मुखे मना हरि मुखे मना
हरि मुखे मना
हरि मुखे मना हरि मुखे मना
हरि मुखे मना हरि मुखे मना
गणना कौन करी पुण्याची गणना कौन करी पुण्याची गणना कौन करी पुण्याची गणना कौन करी श्री ज्ञानदेव श्री तुकाराम श्री ज्ञानदेव श्री तुकाराम
श्री ज्ञानदेव श्री तुकाराम श्री ज्ञानदेव श्री तुकाराम
श्री ज्ञानदेव श्री तुकाराम श्री ज्ञानदेव श्री तुकाराम
श्री ज्ञानदेव श्री तुकाराम
ज्ञानदेव श्री तुकाराम श्री ज्ञानदेव श्री तुकाराम श्री ज्ञानदेव श्री तुकाराम. So we owe all this bliss because of the great Guru Parampara. That is why we consistently chant their names, Sri Jnanadeva Tukaram, whether it be Gopika Jeevana Smaranam, Jai Jai Ram, or Janaki Kanta Smaranam, or Namah Parvati Pataye, or Sri Jnanadeva Tukaram. They're all great devotees who have shown us the supreme path. So this path, when the moment we sing Sri Jnanadeva Tukaram, when we sing of the devotees who have come in this parampara, we are talking about the Varakari Sampradaya, which revolves around the great deity Lord Vithala of Pandharpur, who is a deity who is pleased extremely just with Nama Sankirtan, not with any kheer, not with any offering, not with money, nothing. It is just Nama Sankirtana or consistent chant of Lord's names that pleases Lord Vithala. And with that overflowing devotion, countless saints have sung about Lord Vithala, which we now call as Abhanga. That is that which cannot be broken, that which cannot be interrupted. What cannot be broken? It is complete bliss or jnana which cannot be destroyed. So that which cannot be done bhanga, that is abhanga. And this deity came to Pandharpur not because he was called for, not because he was offered anything because he came because he was attracted to someone who did one of his basic dharmas. It was Pundalika's devotion to his parents that attracted this Lord to Pandharpur. So in the bank of Bhima, there was a great a Mahatma called Pundalika, and the only sadhana that he did was taking care of his elderly parents. So we have the shloka, Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishtaya Janmalabha Parapumsa Ante Narayana Smriti. So it talks about the importance of sticking to one's dharma, Swadharma Parinishtaya. So as humans, when we take birth as humans, one of the basic dharma that we have in our Sanatana dharma is to take care of our parents. And that is the only penance that Pundalika did. And Lord Krishna wanted to see someone who was so devotedly taking care of his parents. That is why when Narada Muni told to Lord Krishna that there is some person called Pundalika in the present Maharashtra along the banks of river Bhima, where he is just taking care of his parents with so much of devotion, so much of love, Lord Krishna came there and he called, "Oh Pundalika, open thy door, open thy door." And Pundalika was there taking care of his parents, and those who have taken care, it's evident, we can't just open the door because, taking care of parents, taking care of children, it's literally the same. We have a lot of things to clean up, a lot of mess is always there. So Pundalika was not in a position to open the door right away or to call the Lord in because he was in the midst of attending to his parents' need. So he said, "Whoever you are, wait there." But even as he was telling these words, something inside him, the inner lotus, told him that it is the Lord himself who has come to see him. So he said, "Even if it is the Lord, please stay there. I'm not in a position to open the door now and receive you. Please stand there, wait for me." And just like we have a waiting room with chairs, where we ask him to please sit. Like that, Pundalika didn't have anything. He just found 2 bricks there. He threw those bricks there and he asked the Lord to stand on that and wait until he is done taking care of his parents. And that Lord waited there, standing on the bricks with his hands on his hips, eagerly waiting. When will he come to meet me? When will he come to meet me? So that Lord who stands on the bricks with his hands in his hip, that is called Karakatavari and Vitevari. Vit means in Marathi, the brick. That Lord is Vithala. And for that, and that Lord came to bless Pundalika, the great devotee, because he did his basic dharma. So our basic dharma as human beings, first of all, is to do our basic duties, take care of everyone, and to do this not with any sense of ego. Look, I am taking care. No. Ishtam dattam tapojattam yacha atmani priyam yat parasmai nivedanam. As an offering, if we do that, if we take to Nama Sankirtana, if we chant the Lord's name wherever we are, whatever we do, and this itself will open to us the eternal bliss. All this comes to us with the blessing of Lord. So every kshana that we remain in the divine bliss of the Lord is a gift given by the Lord to us. Kshanameva garnyam manye, kshanameva garnyam manye, purva punyena Shri Krishna anusmaranam, purva punyena Shri Krishna anusmaranam, tat kshanameva garnyam manye, purva punyena Shri Krishna anusmaranam, tat kshanameva, tat kshanameva, Takshanameva garnyam manye, gunagana bhajana, gunagana
bhajana,
Hari gunagana bhajana, Hari Hari gunagana bhajana, Hari 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 gunagana bhajana, Hari 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 gunagana bhajana, ವೈಭವಮಾಜಿತ ಗುಣಗಾನ ಭಜನ ವೈಭವಭಾಷಿತ ಗೋವಿಂದ ಮಧುಸೂದನ ನಾಮ ಘೋಷಿತ ಗುಣ
ಮಧುಸೂದನ ನಾಮ ಘೋಷಿತ
ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ 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 ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ಪೂರ್ವ ಪುಣ್ಯೇನ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅನುಸ್ಮರಣಂ ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ನಿಗಮಗಾನ ಚರಣಿ ರಜ ಸಮಗರ ರಿಗ ಪಗರಿಗ ಸರಿ ಮಧು ಮುರಳೀಧರ
ನಿಗಮಗಾನ ಚರಣಿ ರಜ ಸಮಗರ ಗಮಗರಿ ಮಧು ಮುರಳೀಧರ
ನಿಗಮಗಾನ ಚರಣಿ ರಜ ಸಮಕರ ರಿಗ ಪರಿಗರಿ ಸರಿ ಮಧು ಮುರಳೀಧರ
ನಿಗಮಗಾನ ಚರಣಿ ರಜ ಸಮಗರ ರಿಗ ಪರಿಗರಿ ಮುರಳೀಧರ
ನಗದರ ಮತಕರ ಮಧು ಮುರಗರ ವರ ಮಾಧವ ಸುಚರಿತ ನಿಗದಿತ ಶುಭಕರ
ನಗದರ ಮತಕರ ಮಧು ಮುರಗರ ವರ ಮಾಧವ ಸುಚರಿತ ನಿಗದಿತ ಶುಭಕರ
ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ 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 ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ಪೂರ್ವ ಪುಣ್ಯೇನ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅನುಸ್ಮರಣಂ ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ನೀಲರೂಪೇಣ ರಂಜಿತ ಕೋಮಲ ನಿರ್ಮಲ ಪದಯುಗ ನೀಲರೂಪೇಣ ನೀಲರೂಪೇಣ ರಂಜಿತ ಕೋಮಲ ರಂಜಿತ ಪದಯುಗ ನೀಲರೂಪೇಣ ರಂಜಿತ ಕೋಮಲ ರಂಜಿತ ಪದಯುಗ ನೂಪುರ ಘಲ ಘಲ ನೀಲರೂಪೇಣ ರಂಜಿತ ಕೋಮಲ ನಿರ್ಮಲ ಪದಯುಗ ಲೋಲವುರಸ್ಥಲ ಕೌಸ್ತುಭ ಮಣಿವರ ಮುಖತರ ಸ್ಮಿತ ನಸ್ಮಿಕರ ಸ್ಮರಣ ಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ಲೋಲವುರಸ್ಥಲ ಕೌಸ್ತುಭ ಮಣಿವರ ಮುಖತರ ಸ್ಮಿತ ನಸ್ಮಿಕರ ಸ್ಮರಣ ಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ಪೂರ್ವ ಪುಣ್ಯೇನ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅನುಸ್ಮರಣಂ ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ಸಾರಸಾಸನ ಸನಕ ಸನಾತನ ಸುಜನ ಗಣಾದಿ ವಿನುತ ನರ್ತನ
ಸಾರಸಾಸನ ಸನಕ ಸನಾತನ ಸುಜನ ಗಣಾದಿ ವಿನುತ ನರ್ತನ
ಕೋಮಲ ಪದ ವೃಂದಾರವನ ವಿಕರಣ ಗೋಪ ಗೋಪಿ ಜನ ಜೀವನ ಸ್ಮರಣ ಕೋಮಲ
ಪದ ಬೃಂದಾವನ ವಿಕರಣ
ಗೋಪ ಗೋಪಿ ಜನ ಜೀವನ ಸ್ಮರಣ ಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ಪೂರ್ವ ಪುಣ್ಯೇನ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅನುಸ್ಮರಣಂ ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ಅವತಂಸಿತ ಕೇಕಿ ಪಿಂಚ ಕುಂತಳ ಘನಲಾಲನ ಮಣಿ ಮಂಡಿತ ಕಿರೀಡ
ಅವತಂಸಿತ ಕೇಕಿ ಪಿಂಚ ಘನನಾಳನ ಮಣಿ ಮಂಡಿತ ಕಿರೀಡ
ನವನೀತ ತಿರರ್ಗಳ ಚೋರ ದೇವಾ ನವನೀತ ನಿರರ್ಗಳ ಚೋರ ದೇವ ದೇವ ಮನೋಗರ ಮೋಗನ ಸ್ಮರಣ ಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ನವನೀತ ನಿರರ್ಗಳ ಚೋರ ದೇವ ದೇವ ಮನೋಗರ ಮೋಗನ ಸ್ಮರಣ ಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ಪೂರ್ವ ಪುಣ್ಯೇನ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅನುಸ್ಮರಣಂ ತಕ್ಷಣಮೇವ ಗಣ್ಯಂ ಮನ್ಯೇ ಪೂರ್ವ ಪುಣ್ಯೇನ ಶ್ರೀ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅನುಸ್ಮರಣಂ with this as an offering to the Bhagavan, counting our kshanameva ganyam manye, that second I reckon as the purest in my life is what the song says. Which is that second? Ganyam manye purva punyene Sri Krishna anusmaranam. With every second that we spend in the remembrance of the Lord, with chanting His names, happily immersing ourselves in the gleeful pastimes of the Lord, let us count our blessings and continue to express His gratitude towards our Guru, to our God, by constantly remembering Him. For this is the only ask that our Mahatmas have from us. Ni nama rupamulaku nitya jaya mangalam pavamana sutudu payatu padara vindamulaku ni nama rupamulaku nitya jaya mangalam praklada naradadi bhaktulu pogadugunde ni nama rupamulaku nitya jaya mangalam rajiva nayana tyagaraja vinutamina ni nama rupamulaku nitya jaya mangalam mangalam mangalam. निज जन मानस नायक जय हे जय अरुणाचल रमणा निज जन मानस नायक जय हे जय अरुणाचल रमणा संताप ताप विनाशक करुणा वरुणालय पूरित नयना शिव शिव शांत प्रपंच विहीन समान सदा द्वय बोध जय अरुणाचल रमणा जय जय मुनिनुत चरणा जय अरुणाचल रमणा स्वात्म बोधकर सारक संभृत सरोज दल समनयना सामज मदवर गमना स्वरूप रसयुत वचना जय अरुणाचल रमणा ब्रह्म बोधकर वीक्षण किरणा ज्ञान दिवाकर वदना शांत प्रसन्न गभीर कृपार्णव पूरित पावन हृदया जय अरुणाचल रमणा जय अरुणाचल रमणा जय अरुणाचल रमणा आकल्पायुष्वभावेतया कुलमाजिया सकल हरीचे दास कल्पनेची बाधा न हो कोणे काली ही संत मंडली सुखी असो अहंकाराचा वारा न लागो राजसा माझिया विष्णुदासा भाविकासी नामा म्हणे तया असावे कल्याण जामुखी निदान पांडुरंग पुंडलीक वरदे हरि विठले श्री ज्ञानदेव तुकाराम सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। राम 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 राम।
Yeah, so she is Poornima Srikant, who has been doing Harikatha for more than 15 years now. She does various topics, mainly on Abang, plus any topic you give. So that is her prowess. I'm sure you enjoyed her music as well as the knowledge and her bhakti. Let's hope we get 1% of that bhakti, right? On the harmonium, we had Shrikant, Poornima's husband, and my brother. Mridangam, of course, you know Kaushik. We had Saumya, Aparna, and Murli who accompanied her. And we are very sorry those who couldn't sit down. Next satsang, I promise we'll have more chairs for sure. But you shouldn't have that as intermittent, like you shouldn't keep that I have to sit down so I won't come. I'll promise we'll have more chairs next time. We usually have once in a quarter or something. We had bhajan like 2 months back. Last month we had Carnatic music. This time it is Harikatha. So this will keep happening. Please do come in numbers because that's all the support we need, because we need satsang, right? So until and unless you all come, I'm sure they won't have the energy to give this much. And we have a small lunch, so please have it and go. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.